Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 54 of Blown Speakers. I'm Dave Hoenigman coming in from Japan, Fujisawa, Japan at the moment. And joining me, first-time guest, is our distinguished colleague, Walt Wyman. Yeah, coming in from
Good afternoon.
Right? You're like one floor above me and one door over, right?
That's right.
How are you today, Walt?
Oh, not bad. I came in from I work here in Fujisawa, but I live in Sendai, so I came in on the early Shinkansen. It was a smooth ride, no train delays, so I was happy about that. It's always kind of a roll of the dice because about 1 in every 10 times, like there's some horrible train delay because of, well, not to get too grim and brutal about it, because of someone throwing themselves onto the train tracks. It happens with kind of stunning frequency. Yeah,
it does happen. But on a lighter note, it's beautiful weather today.
Yes, quite. It's a lovely December afternoon, and quite a bit warmer down here in Tokyo than in Sendai.
So I would say good weather for talking about extremely extreme heavy metal music.
That's right. Yeah, the perfect time to talk about the most dark, brutal, grim metal band, this side of Corpse Grinder.
Yeah, the Sons of Midwestern Darkness 2020. So it's the debut album from Taint, right? From where are they from exactly?
So, I know that Lance, the king of black metal, would probably tell you he is from, the bowels of hell or something, but actually he is the alter ego of Dave Hill from a place that I think is very familiar to you, Cleveland, Ohio, or sort of the suburbs of Cleveland. Matthias Backwards is, I think he would bill himself as from parts unknown or something to that effect, but I'm not sure actually where he is from originally. I don't know if he is another Midwest. I think he is another Midwesterner given the title of the album, but I don't know if he's from Cleveland or possibly from Nebraska, which is the other Midwestern state they name in the title song of the album.
Yes. So what Lance, the king of black metal, sometimes referred to as Lance of the Lakes, and Matthias Backwards. But Witch Taint is technically from Gary, Indiana, right? I mean, their personas within the Witch Taint universe.
Oh, right.
They claim to be from Gary, Indiana.
Oh, hilarious. Yeah.
Home of Michael Jackson.
So,
yeah. Or birthplace of Michael Jackson. So it makes sense that the king of pop and the king of black metal would be.
That's true. Yeah. That makes sense.
But it seems like they want to at least throw some connection to Norway in their past too. So they try to mention Norway as much as possible.
Yeah, I think they are very much. I think they are very much fans of the Nordic black metal scene. Was probably the inspiration for this project, which is sort of, I guess, one part like really kick-ass metal, one part performance art and like one part like just pure comedy. Yeah. So what did you make of this album, Dave, when you first heard it?
I mean, the album cover is amazing, right? Like, I mean, if this was just a metal band's album cover, I'd be on board with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think musically, it holds muster.
Yeah, if you just had it on in the background and weren't really listening to the lyrics, you would just be like, oh yeah, this is a solid, like serious, like black metal band, right?
Yeah. I mean, to the extent that, like the dialogues in the middle and everything. Like the first time I listened to it, I kind of wish they didn't break character to that extent, right?
Right.
But then the more I listen, I see that that is kind of necessary, I think. I mean,
yeah,
for it to be a comedy album.
Yeah, they're not they're not trying to deceive anyone, I think, on that front.
The music is very catchy. I mean, for heavy, I can't get it out of my head when I listen to it a couple times.
Yeah, a lot of the songs are very earwormy, aren't they? They just get stuck in your head. Yeah, for me especially, like death to death metal, like that. Yeah, the chorus to that just it just stayed in my head for like days after I heard it.
And Sons of Satan.
Sons of Satan, yep, another banger. Yeah, I mean they're all like it is pretty much like all certified bangers on this album, I think. I don't think you can go wrong with any of the songs, really. I think it just speaks like Dave Hill, Lance, the king of black metal, is a pretty accomplished musician, in addition to being like a really funny comedian and just an overall national treasure, I think. And his, Matthias Backwards, aka Phil Costello, has collaborated with him for a long time in acts like Valley Lodge, which is also like a really, just musically, a really excellent band, I think. So like, yeah, they bring the chops. They really bring the heat.
When did you first hear of Dave Hill?
Yeah, that's a good question. It was probably about 7 or 8 years ago, and I first heard him on This American Life, I believe. He was he was doing a segment on that about a time he worked in a homeless shelter and inadvertently facilitated the theft of 300 pounds of beef. It's a very interesting story. It's very worth going into This American Life archives and finding that story. I still use it as in some of my English classes. I'll play that as like a listening exercise. And he just told it with like such like deadpan humor. I was like, I gotta find out more. I've got to find more of this guy's material. And then I found he had like a whole podcast. He had like the Dave Hill podcast incident. Then I think it moved to radio, and he was the Goddamn Dave Hill show on, it was like a New York radio station, WFMU, I believe. And then he moved back to the podcast format. Now it's the Dave Hill Good Time Hour. And I don't know, like just to give you an idea of his sense of humor, like I think for the last, whatever, both on his radio show and his podcast, like for the last 5 years, he has started every episode by playing in its entirety the song Angel Witch by the band Angel Witch from the album Angel Witch, just because relaying that fact to the audience gives him so much joy. Like that was the song Angel Witch by the band Angel Witch from, let me check the album name, Angel Witch. Like it's that kind of gives you an idea of his sense of humor, I think.
Wow. And he doesn't drop it. He just continues doing that. Wow.
Yeah, he's done that like every episode for like
okay, that explains, because you you sent me a link at one time, right, when he had on Eric Mahoney, the director of the Brainiac video, right? You sent me the link to that, and then we had Eric joined us on this show,
right? Yeah,
shortly after that. But yeah, now that you mentioned that, yeah, it did begin with a Angel Witch, and I was wondering.
Yep. What? Yeah, it's just this like obscure like 80s like hair metal song. Like but the thing, like, he's like 100% earnest. He does not have any truck with the hipster irony. Like he actually unironically loves that song, and that's like so I don't know. Yeah. If you can't tell, I'm a pretty big fan of Dave Hill. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad you turned me on to him. Yeah, and it's been fun. Yeah, so I watched. He just put up a new episode or a new special on YouTube, right?
Pride. The Pride of Cleveland. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's one of his shows that was recorded pre-pandemic. So it kind of a little message in a bottle from happier times. Yeah. And yeah, he gets out the axe on that show too, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in the the way we're going to focus on him today is as Lance, the king of black metal, with Matthias backwards, right?
Right.
And I like that Matthias is not even credited with playing any instruments from what I could see, but he just carries around this giant wooden hammer.
Yeah, his instrument is hammer.
Yeah. And,
yeah, I think he does play. I mean, well, aside from vocals, obviously, he has just an exquisite like black scream, right?
He does,
but yeah. I think he also is a bass player. I'm not sure though. You have to check check me on that. But I believe he is a bassist.
I like how when you look at his face, you're not really sure if it's right, if it's a corpse, a corpse paint scowl or a mustache.
Right. Or a mustache. Yeah. It's like it could be a Freddie Mercury thing, or it could be makeup. Yeah, it just kind of all blends together.
And killer wristbands.
Yeah. I mean, this 14-year-old me definitely was checking out this kind of stuff in the the back of, I don't know, whatever I was reading at the time, a Kerrang magazine or whatever. Yeah, definitely wishing I had the money to order that kind of stuff.
So did you read Hit Parader?
Not so much. I think I was more, God, what was it? Maybe Metal Edge was the one I was into. I have only very vague memories of that time in my life. I kind of blotted them out, but
somehow Hit Parader was my go-to. Like Kerrang, somehow we didn't have Kerrang at my local drugstore where I would buy magazines. It's like Hit Parader or Rip. Yeah, or Metal Edge.
Rip, yeah.
Or Circus. There was one called Circus.
Circus, that's right. I'd forgotten about Circus. Man.
You can mail order this kind of this kind of gear.
Yeah, I forget whether it was like, yeah, I remember getting these, yeah, catalogs that just sold like, they were basically catalogs that just sold anything like a 14-year-old delinquent would want, like, you know, spiked collars and, you know, throwing stars and, you know, t-shirts that were like not exactly bootleg, but not really like not any specific band, just some kick-ass skull, you know, like that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, that reminds me of this heavy metal poster I had when I was a kid. I should try to find it. Like it was a black velvet poster, and it just said heavy metal, and it had some guy that, you know, vaguely looked like you know, Iron Maiden's Eddie, but it was just, you know,
just non-copyright infringing Eddie.
yeah. But it was
that's
glow in
awesome.
the dark. And I was thinking about it, and I found a picture of it online. So
Wow.
when we have time, I'll try.
Right, we'll have to get out the black light for that. Yeah.
Well, do you think to give the viewers an idea, shall we play a bit of a excerpt from one of these songs? What do you think?
Yeah,
A good one to start us off.
that's a great idea. Well, I'll leave it to host discretion. What do you think is a good point of entry into their oeuvre?
Yeah, somehow I'm going with death to death metal. I like the
that's a good one.
Yeah, I like the dialogue at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we play a little clip of that and then talk about the song? Yeah.
Sure. It has goats in it too. You can't.
It has
goats.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with.
Can't go wrong with goats. All right. Okay. Yeah. Before we go in the video, I did track down that poster I was mentioning. So I had this in my bedroom. You know, when I was like 13 or something.
Oh my gosh, that is excellent. Yeah, that really is giving me Iron Maiden vibes. That really is like
Look at that bad boy. And it had
nice.
Yeah, so there you have the headbands, right? That like,
wow.
I'm sorry, the wristbands that Matthias is wearing.
Right.
Have an axe, right? Like reminiscent of Gene Simmons, like axe bass. And he had like pins that just say like rock and roll, or I wish I could get that big. I feel like one of the pins says Ozzy or something. Like there are a few like there's a Black Sabbath cross here.
That is
so it does just like attach random names of known metal bands.
Yeah, that was such a thing of the moment of just like writing the name of the thing you liked on something. Like that was that was such a like a 80s kind of, you know.
Yeah. On your notebooks, of course, on your Trapper Keeper.
Right? Yeah, you just write just the name of something, you know, like Iron Maiden, Led Zeppelin. It's like, oh.
Wow, that's pretty much a direct ripoff of Eddie, isn't it?
That's pretty excellent. That is a grade A Eddie knockoff. You can tell they really put the effort in, you know.
So Spencer Gifts in the mall across America. Did you have Spencer Gifts?
I don't think we had. Like I was in a kind of remote town for most of my childhood called Walla Walla, Washington, and I don't think there was a Spencer Gifts, but I think there was sort of the equivalent, in the local. Like we didn't even get a proper mall until like, I don't know, 88 or 89 or something. Like is this a Spencer Gifts joint? Is that where you got this poster?
I think so.
Nice. Nice.
I'm gonna
we had a Payless, and I'd go in and just like flip through the racks of posters, just drooling over all the all the metal posters. Yeah, while my parents shopped for, I don't know, whatever it is parents shop for. Yeah. I guess I should know since I am a parent now, but
All right, let's watch some witch
yeah.
Taint. This is the track Death to Death Metal. Check it out.
You know what I hate, Matthias backwards?
What, Lance, the king of black metal?
There's some people out there who don't even know the difference between black metal and death metal.
What? Black metal is the music of the gods, and death metal is for children who still live with their mothers.
I still live with my mother.
Oh, sorry.
Death to death metal, weak songs of gore, played by gods in sweatpants. Death to death metal, death to death metal. You're dead. Fuck off. When it started in Florida, or so I was told. 30 seconds in, it already sounds old. The scary Clint Benton inverted cross on his face. If you ask me, he should be working at Subway. Don't you take it so hard. You would have said in the sound charts. Leave out the nails of Satan. Death to death metal, death to death metal. Weak songs of gore, played by dudes in sweatpants. Death to death metal, death to death metal. You're dead, you're dead. So fuck off. Some bossy made blast beats with cloud fade. George Corpse grind a fish up, belongs on a farm. Yes, it does. Sent out to pasture, along with Chris Barnes. Perhaps I should go to Sweden. So far away I can't hear them.
Yeah, just to.
Yep. So, yeah, I think we get a sense of it. Yeah.
So what
You get. Yeah, and like, to be honest, I was never a big death metal guy. I mostly stuck with melodic metal bands, like, again, the aforementioned Iron Maiden. I listened to a lot of Loudness because I was into Japan, so I didn't really get the reference to what's Chris Barnes, or like, I don't know, maybe you have more insight onto that than I do.
well, he mentions the guy who branded an inverted cross on his forehead,
Right.
The band Deicide, I think.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't think that's Chris Barnes, but that he's referencing that guy, the guy who burned the cross on his forehead, and says that he should be working at Subway.
Subway, yeah, and would excel at the sandwich arts. Yeah. Yeah, I really like the way it's. I mean, I guess maybe it's like overthinking it a little bit, but to me, it seems like this song is just sort of like kind of poking fun at all the kind of gatekeeping that goes on in, especially these musical subgenres, and kind of making fun of the fact that no one can really tell the difference between death metal and black metal. Like, I don't know. I thought that was extremely funny.
And how the one has to hate the other one. So
right, yeah. It's like the narcissism of minor differences. It's like, yeah. And and again, it's just a kick-ass like metal song too. So if you just had it on in the background and weren't really listening to the lyrics, you'd just be like, yeah, like you could just rock out to it. Yeah. So I like how it works. It works on both levels as a parody, but also as just a good song.
Yeah, like you could blast it in a van, right?
Oh yeah, totally. You could totally blast it in your sick van with the airbrushed picture of the warlock on the side. Yeah.
So weak songs of gore made by guys in sweatpants. So I like that I like the guy that they just keep
yeah,
the
poor guy they keep giving the finger to and
on their rollerblades.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I think that song in that music video gives a pretty good sense of the musical stylings, but also the comic sensibilities.
So what do you think is the significance of the like pounding Mountain Dew in just 2-liter bottles of sugar drinks?
I don't know, like yeah, I didn't really think about it when I watched the video, to be honest, but that's a good question. There's a prominent Mountain Dew product placement in that video. Hopefully the significance of it is that they got like a huge paycheck from Mountain Dew. But yeah, I don't know. I just interpreted it as like the, kind of the, I don't know, you probably did this when you were a teenager too, like you're too young to buy booze. So instead you just go out and load up on like a ton of caffeinated drinks and, pound them with your friends while blasting music and,
eating Doritos too.
Eating Doritos, of
sugar
course.
Drinks and chips.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but, yeah, it's
so we've talked about it a bit. There's quite a history of comedy and metal, right?
Yeah, we've talked about this before, like how it's it seems to be like the chocolate and peanut butter of entertainment. But yeah, why do you think that is? There's so much like just great, like hilarious stuff that's metal based or metal adjacent. But
it's just because there's something inherently just funny about it. Like if you think about Venom, like the band Venom, who are so scary and everything they said was just so shocking and terrible, like horrifying. But they were just musicians, right? From I forget the name of the place they're from in Newcastle. They're from Newcastle,
right,
England, right? Like just some kind of blue collar shipbuilding town. So I mean, just if you look at them from one side, they're terrifying, right? But then if you look at it from another angle, they're hilarious.
It's
right?
hilarious.
And,
yeah. Sure.
And and years later they would admit that it was all kind of a joke, but it inspired a huge wave of musicians. And well, as you said before, performance art, like a lot of it is borderline performance art. And if you buy into it like the way they want you to, it's scary and threatening, but also hilarious. So it's just a slight change of angle that makes it hilarious. So maybe that's why it's so like Spinal Tap, right?
Yeah, Spinal Tap is maybe the example of that, right? The one that started it all, perhaps. I don't know. There's probably older examples of comedy and metal mashups, but that's the oldest one I can think of.
Beavis and Butthead. I mean, it was
of course, yeah.
Tenacious D, right? Yeah.
And there's this like whole other like branch that's like semi-serious, and sometimes the fans really do take it seriously and like take the lore super seriously, but it's also hilarious, like gore. I think because I knew guys in college who just like, they did not think that stuff was funny at all. They were like super into the lore and super into the backstories of all the characters. They were like, I don't know, whatever the Trekkie or whatever the gore equivalent of a Trekkie was, right? But like, like me, I was into them because I thought they were so funny. Like it was like they get up on stage with these giant like rubber phalluses strapped to them. Like it's, I don't know.
Yeah, it would feel like a stretch to be able to take that seriously, but yeah.
I think some of their fans, I think really, I mean, I think they do recognize that it's funny, but man, I definitely knew some people who were way into the lore.
Oh, that kids! Did you ever see the Kids in the Hall movie, Brain Candy?
No, I don't think I did.
So there's a scene in there where it's like it's clearly supposed to be Glenn Danzig. They're like taking the piss out of Glenn Danzig, but that's another example I could see of kind of mocking
Nice.
metal. Yeah. They go hand in hand.
Yeah,
I would say.
yes.
Well, even Wayne's, all right, like Wayne's World is more, hard rock.
Yeah,
That instantly got so big, right? Like I remember like just that it was one of those SNL skits that came, like late in the episode. It felt like one they just kind of threw together, but everybody loved it so much. So like then it was moved up earlier in the episode, and then it's a film series, like
right.
or at least one film. But and Beavis and Butthead was kind of like that too. I think it began on Liquid Television or something. Do you remember that Liquid Television? It was like a
right.
MTV had a program that was just all animation, and so it was like a 3-minute segment on there.
Right. It was just kind of like exploiting the fact that MTV already had the rights to all these music, to show all these music videos. So they just put some interstitial animations in with it.
Because like when Beavis and Butthead was really big, like MTV would play that like all day. Whenever you turn on MTV, it would just be Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, for sure. Then maybe slightly like getting into the 2000s, there was also that show Metalocalypse. It was like it started out as just it was an animation, but the band that the show's focused on, Death Clock, this fictional metal band that was, I guess, performing, carefully choreographed steps to bring about the apocalypse. Like they actually went on tour, like the guys who performed the music actually started touring as Death Clock, or they maybe not touring, but they did at least a few concerts, I think. That's kind of a similar thing where it's like, like it's if you listen to the lyrics, it's like super funny, like, but if you just listen to it in the background, like as metal music, it sounds like metal music, like.
Yeah, I missed that one somehow. I was already in Japan.
It's worth checking out. It's quite I think quite funny.
Was it on cable originally, or what?
Gosh, was it originally an Adult Swim show? I think maybe. I think you might be able to find it in Japan. I don't know that it ever got brought over here, because it was quite like it was quite violent.
Well, I'm sure it's heavily YouTube.
Yeah, you can definitely find clips on YouTube.
And even I'm sure the people that made this poster were probably laughing their asses off, right?
Oh yeah, it's very. It's just what.
So this is a picture of the single off the album
Nice.
Sons of Satan.
Yes.
That yeah,
Which-
cost 666 pence, of course.
They really went all out with the like used record store aesthetic for the cover. I love that.
Do you know anything about the hockey jersey that he wears?
So like, yeah, Dave, I don't know about that specific jersey, but I know Dave Hill is a huge hockey fan and kind of famously has a huge collection of hockey jerseys for so I think it's just, yeah, I think that's just a little sort of like wink at his longtime fans, you know. But yeah, it also looks really good. Yeah, this song too also has like a great music video. All the music videos they put out have been just hilarious. They're all worth checking out. Sons of Satan, Ready for Love, spelled LVV. Like, really funny.
It's the videos look good too. So it's kind of interesting that nowadays, you know, like at this level, like just these guys kind of goofing around could actually make videos that look really good.
Yeah.
So what do you think about like in the 80s, like major bands were making videos that looked like shit?
Oh yeah. It's amazing with how far the technology has come. Like the phone you have in your pocket is probably a better video camera than what like a lot of these videographers we're working with. Yeah, it's amazing.
And I'm happy to see the Venom t-shirt. Yeah, as I just mentioned, Venom.
Yeah, Venom. Yeah.
I've been stressing to my students in my heavy metal class how massively influential Venom was. So yeah, the t-shirt comes up all the time. So
Nice.
so in this universe, in the Witch Taint universe in Gary, Indiana, so how old are these guys supposed to be? Because yeah, like, okay, we know he lives with his mom, but then like he has his full mustache, but they still right? They ride BMX bikes around.
Yeah.
Later we see that Matthias backwards has a full family, right? With like 2 or 3 kids, right?
Right.
So it's kind of hard to figure out how old these guys are, and plus they're always wearing heavy makeup. So
right.
So what do you think?
I think they're in real life, like that. I think they're in their 40s, perhaps maybe late 30s.
But sticking to the Witch Taint universe.
But yeah, and actually David Hill kind of has this mythology behind him that he is like kind of like a Zelig-like character who has been around forever. He had a show called David Hill History Fluffer, where he would tell these long narratives and insert himself into various like historical events. It was this very like Dadaist comedy show. And he would talk about like being present at Watergate and at like, you know, just various historical events that probably happened before he was alive. But yeah, in this universe, I don't know, in the Witch Taint lore, which I didn't really go deep on, I do not know what their exact ages are supposed to be, though I kind of interpret it as, you know, like, you know, dudes who are in their 40s who act like they're in their teens, you know. But yeah, the whole yeah, the whole thing with you know, still living with their moms and you know, stuff like, yeah, kind of.
But the guy in sweatpants that they're always harassing.
Yeah.
It looks like he's maybe like 2 or 3 years older, just like
yeah,
like
yeah,
like slightly one generation before. But
Yeah, whoever that guy is, he's a phenomenal actor because the video, like he just perfectly nails that just not having it like vibe, like just it's so funny.
and the town is so small that he like sees them like 5 times.
Yeah, they just keep running into him. Yeah.
And they're at every turn they're just literally doing nothing. Like they're sitting on the train tracks. Sometimes they're just like hanging out on the playground.
Yep. Did you watch the video for Sons of Satan? Because
Yes.
that video implies heavily that they are in fact
That's right. That's right.
the literal sons of Satan. Though, yeah. Yeah.
We could get into that. Wait, but when you said like his thing about when he injects himself into Watergate or whatever, was that what he was doing? So I did watch the Pride of Cleveland special that just came up. So his story about opening for Snoop Dogg, is that complete BS or what?
No, I think that's a true story. I think that one is true because he has like a lot of showbiz connections, and I know he does open for like bands and whatnot. Like I think he originally got started. I think he was, what was it? Like he has like he's been around for a while. Like I don't know how old he is exactly, but like in the 90s and stuff, he has this great story about how he was one of the assistants for like a concert production, and like he was sent out, like he was assigned to drive Bjork around like New York for a while and Bjork's like whole, apparently her diet and everything was like heavily regimented by the producers, but like Dave tried to get her to try Twinkies and like the producers were like no, like
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah. He's so I think he definitely has had some interesting experiences.
Wow. I wonder how he has all those connections.
Yeah. Well, again, he's just I think he's just been around for a while, and he's like he had a couple of TV shows. He was in a show called King of Miami, which I've never seen because it's really hard to track down now. And he was recently in the movie Drunk Bus, which again, I haven't been able to track it down in Japan yet, but I want to see it.
Drunk Bus, a comedy, I take it.
Yes, I believe so.
Well, my friend Greg, right, who was one of the founders of this show with me, who is still on from time to time, Greg Janko from Buffalo, went to Fordham College, and he knew Dave Hill at Fordham. So if he's about the same age, so I think that would place Dave around 51 or.
Oh, okay.
50, yeah. I think 50,
not to blow up his spot or anything, but
but he could still ride a. He still looks pretty comfortable on a BMX bike, right?
Yeah, he's in great shape, whatever his age. His Instagram is absolutely a delight too. He regularly posts like short clips of him on Instagram riding around on his bicycle on that too. So worth a follow.
So that's clips of him in the makeup or just him on his bicycle?
No, usually just him on his bicycle with his bicycle helmet on, riding around and threatening to beat up various townies. Comically, like not seriously threatening them or anything. He's another just fun trivia fact about Dave Hill is he has an Instagram, but he was thrown off Twitter because he had for a while. He goes into it on his podcast, but for a while he had this sort of hobby during the Trump administration of like responding to pro-Trump tweets with like, shall we say, very sexually explicit "your mom" jokes. And apparently that violated Twitter's terms of service. I don't know, but he got banned from Twitter for that. So now he's just down to his Instagram account.
Oh, really? Wow. So a permanent ban from Twitter.
Yeah. He got completely thrown off Twitter just for I mean, I don't think I could repeat any of the jokes here because I know this is sort of a family friendly show, but check the goddamn Dave Hill show or the Dave Hill Good Time Hour archives for his for the details of that whole saga.
It's interesting though, like, all right, so that Pride of Cleveland, there are some threads that he like continues even when he's, whether or not he's Lance, the king of black metal, or if he's just Dave Hill. But yeah, like on this album too, he has a big thing about, are you ready? Are you ready? We don't think you're ready for our metal or something like that.
Right. Are you ready to black metal? Yeah. That's another of my favorite songs.
Yeah. I think he says like, we don't think you'll ever be ready.
Right.
No matter what you do.
Right.
You will not be prepared for this. But he did something like that in the performance too. And he's like constantly asking the audience if they're ready and to what degree they're ready. And
yeah, he definitely has he definitely has a style or brand of humor that is like consistent, I think, no matter what project he's working on. And it's great because he is like really prolific. Like the guy is he's in so many different things. It's kind of amazing. Kind of in awe.
Oh, I was going to say, should we check out a bit of Sons of Satan?
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Okay, so we'll watch a bit of the Sons of Satan video, which has a very special guest appearance by Satan himself. Let's check it out.
Great.
We were doing blasphemy before blasphemy was cool. If you're not down with Satan, you motherfucking Jew. We are the sons of Satan. We don't give a fuck. We are the sons of Satan. You shit out loud. The 7 deadly sins. That's your shit. We do on a Monday. You're never gonna fucking believe what we get up to by Sunday.
Hey guys, it's me, Satan.
Oh, hey, Satan.
Hello, Satan.
How's it going?
Really great, guys. Thanks for asking. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I'm super flattered by your song and everything, but I just want to be clear and make sure there's, no confusion.
What do you mean, Satan?
It's just that, I just want to make sure I've never had any sort of, relationship with your mothers, whether it be physical or emotional or whatever. In fact, I've never even met your mothers.
Yeah, we know. We weren't suggesting that or anything.
We just meant that we are your sons in the figurative sense. We were not suggesting that you had sexual intercourse with our mothers.
Great, okay. I'm really glad we cleared this up. I guess just, I don't know, go to the guitar solo now or something.
We are the sons of Satan. We don't give a fuck. We are the sons of Satan.
Yep.
Oh, Satan as a deadbeat dad. I mean, I guess that should be a surprise to nobody, but I love it. Yeah, I really like. I feel like you know, at least for me, I've been just focusing so much on Dave Hill because he's the guy I know the most about. But I mean, really, you got to give it up for Phil Costello because his comedic delivery is just impeccable. He is hilarious in that video. And just anytime like Matthias backwards talks, it just cracks me up. Like that weird, I don't know, non-specific, vaguely Scandinavian accent he's doing. It's just,
Yeah, I was going to ask you about it.
so good.
Is that even vaguely Scandinavian?
Yeah, I do not think that's his real accent. But yeah, just a couple of really funny guys.
I like so the part about sports, he says we're not into sports, we're just into, like, what does he say, babes and partying and
yeah, it's like partying Satan and chicks or something.
Yeah.
And then the rhyming chicks with 666. That's
yes. So that does yeah, so they do have a page on the Metal Archives.
Nice.
And it does have so a few funny things on here. Well, so it does have the right, the lineup: Lance, the king of black metal, right? And Matthias backwards. Yeah, songs is where, yeah. So here we got Death to Death Metal. Oh yeah, Sons of Satan. What did he say? Oh yeah, we're not into sports. We just like partying, Satan, and chicks. Besides, you never see a sport team jersey with the number 666.
Yeah, severe. Yeah, that's a severe shortcoming if you're a Satanist athlete. Yeah, they don't go up that high. That's something I never thought about, but yeah, for sure.
Their contact info on this site: contact Mr. Lou Rawls at Gmail.
Oh my God. Lou Rawls was
like a soul singer.
Soul singer. Okay.
His Christmas album is very famous.
Oh.
I think his heyday was kind of
Right.
70, maybe 60s and 70s. Yeah, it's just
Right. So
Funky and
right.
nothing to do with them. They're
So just like the polar opposite. Like
contact Lou Rawls.
yeah, I wonder if that really does go to them, or if that's like a troll. Like,
I'm gonna say he's probably dead. I think Lou Rawls.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I wonder if that is actually the Witch Taint's contact information, or if that's like a joke.
But I mean, at least they have that level of authenticity that they do have a Metal Archives page, right? So, oh, do we lose Did we lose Walt there suddenly? Oh, there you are. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So suddenly everything froze. I don't know what happened. Internet hiccup.
Okay. Yeah, I got a notice too. Our Wi-Fi.
Oh no, we've been using too much internet, I guess. It's just the campus internet just cannot handle all of this searing black metal. Just being crammed down its pipes. It's
the extremity of at various points they use the word extreme twice, like extremely extreme.
Right, extremely extreme. That's very very on brand, I think. It's interesting. They mentioned some of Lance, the King of Black Metal, aka David Hill's other bands. Painted Doll, Valley Lodge, and so on. I'm not familiar with most of these. I'm most familiar with Valley Lodge because that's just it's just a really good rock band. And I believe Matthias Backwards or Phil Costello is also in Valley Lodge too. So if you want to see them without their makeup, you can watch their Valley Lodge videos.
And so here it mentions Thor. Are you familiar with Thor? I think his heyday was the 80s. This Canadian bodybuilder metal guy who he made a serious go at it, I think in the early 80s. But I think the guy just never gave up. He continues to tour. He has these he has his own kind of fringe fans. There's been documentaries about him and everything, but I'm guessing this means he played with Thor at one point, which would make perfect sense to me. But that'd be cool to track that down.
Yeah, I know. Oh, Sons of Elvis too, I think was. Was a relatively well-known band that Dave Hill was attached to. Yeah.
Cobra Verde is the legendary Cleveland band, so he was part of that.
Okay.
So he's
he's been around. He's really again, I'm always amazed because it seems that whenever I think I've kind of hit the boundaries of the Dave Hill cinematic universe, it's there's always some other project or something that pops up that. Oh yeah, back in the 80s he was part of this, or something. It's that the guy has got a very very broad range.
And did you say, so is it Valley Lodge that does the theme song for John Oliver?
Yes, I think their song "Go" is the theme song for John Oliver show. Yeah.
Wow.
Also a very good song and a very good music video to go with it.
Check that out. So was there a lot of build up to Witch Taint coming? Did you know this project was in the work as a Dave Hill fan? Did you know that this was in the works, or did it just appear?
Yeah, I think because he mentioned it on his podcasts starting 3 or 4 years ago. He started talking about this band that he had formed with Phil Costello called Witch Taint. They put out, before this album came out, about 3 years ago, they dropped the "Are You Ready to Black Metal" as a music video. That music video is also equally hilarious. It's a lot more, you can tell it's a lot more low budget than the ones that came out for this album, but it's really funny, and it's got the comedian Claire O'Kane in it, who is also just a very funny comedian, and she is hilarious in the video too, just physical acting, just emoting. It's kind of I don't know, like the video just kind of focuses on them like kind of buzzing around Claire O'Kane, and she's just kind of like get out of my face. Yeah, worth watching. So yeah, that was like kind of the first time that I had heard of Witch Taint. And then this, yeah, I guess I wonder if they'd been working on this album for like all 3 years, or if it was just the pandemic, like everyone shut inside, so they just decided to record something. I don't know.
Do you know who sings on, so the comedian you just mentioned that so do you know who sings on The Dark Way?
I'd wondered that because I couldn't find a voice credit for that. Yeah, there's this amazing female vocalist who does those, like, these operatic vocals. Yeah, this song, like that song particularly, took me really off guard because it doesn't really, it's not really in the style of any of the other songs on the album. It almost sounds like a song from like a Broadway musical or something. Like I almost wondered, wait, is this a cover of like a Phantom of the Opera song or something? Yeah, because it's like this, yeah, it's this really like dramatic, like operatic song. It doesn't sound like any of the other songs on the album, but yeah, I couldn't find any info on who did the vocals.
Sounded a bit like Meatloaf. Like it sounded like something off Bad Out of Hell or something.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, and I've noticed like kind of vlog or vlog like episodes they do. They have a woman on in corpse paint. So I wonder if I'm just wondering if it's all the same person. The comedian you mentioned and the guest vocalist and. But,
I don't know. It could be. Not sure. I think judging from Claire O'Kane's speaking voice, it sounds like her register is a little bit lower than the. But who knows when if she's singing, it could be. Yeah, I don't know if it's. Yeah, I have no idea. But.
Okay, so yeah, as we were looking at. Right, their Metal Archives page. Yeah, he's performing with Thor, right? So yeah, there you go. Well, this is Thor.
That's Thor. Good grief, that is wow. That is just like peak late 70s, early 80s hair. That is amazing.
And yeah, bodybuilder, right? The bodybuilder metal guys. But yeah, started earlier than you would think. This band was active from 71 to 86. And then from
crazy.
97 to present. So they're yeah.
Still going. Wow.
Going strong.
Well, I mean, they were bodybuilders, so they took care of themselves. So they're probably still in pretty good condition,
Wow. So this totally predates Conan the Barbarian. Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
And like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
So that's.
Do you think his eye patch is real?
Man, I hope. Well, I don't know whether I hope so or hope not, because that would be it'd be too kind of real tough luck for him, if it was actually a functional eye patch. But I really like this barbarian pirate leather daddy aesthetic they have going. It's pretty amazing.
I'm guessing this picture isn't 71 though. I don't know, because if it was, that would be impressive, because that would be
really ahead of their time, right? Yeah.
I mean, that would be like 5 years before Judas Priest started wearing spikes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, regardless, it's very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you actually tracked down a clip of Dave Hill playing with Thor. That kind of it kind of makes a lot of sense that Dave Hill would, guest spot on, kind of similarly over the top like metal acts.
Mm-hmm. And Phil Anselmo from Pantera is involved. I guess singing background vocal. So
I think you mentioned on one of your earlier shows, but yeah, Phil Anselmo and Dave Hill are pretty good friends. It seems like they. Phil has been on Dave Hill's show a few times, and they made the Metal Grasshopper series, which I believe you introduced in a previous show.
Yeah. Well, I just mentioned it. We didn't play a clip, but but we'll check out this footage of Dave Hill playing with Thor. It looks like it must have been some Thor reunion. So the second wave of Thor post 97. All right, let's check out the clip. Just a moment. Okay, so this looks like it was 2 years ago. It was uploaded. It's Thor doing Thunder on the Tundra. Let's check it out.
That is a very metal title.
Okay, we're gonna do a song that was the #1 for us actually back in '84 in England. Oh, it was over Wasp's Fuck Like a Beast, over Van Halen's Panama. It was #1 in the rock charts for 1 week, and then it went down to number 1,000. Just like that in England, you know how it is. But let's have fun with it. Thunder in the Tundra.
Very good.
Nice. Classic. Yeah, I mean,
it was #1 for 1 week and it shot down to number 1,000.
That's fantastic. Well, I mean, hey, a #1 song is a #1 song, you know, no matter what the duration. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Well, yeah, that so yeah, I think you told me that Thor is from Canada, is that right?
I think so.
And that kind of that connection makes a lot of sense to me. You know, people who've listened to this album already, but aren't maybe familiar with Dave Hill might have been a little confused by one of the bonus tracks, The Gods of the North, where he just goes through like listing all these Canadian towns. But yeah, there is this deep connection with Dave Hill and Canada. He is, I guess, a quarter Canadian. He wrote an entire book about Canada called Parking the Moose. It's a very good book, worth reading or getting the audiobook. And so, yeah, he is, maybe one of the foremost scholars on Canada and Canadian culture, in addition to all the other stuff he does, in the world, I think, safe to say. Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me that he would guest spot on a Canadian metal band. Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
BC, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so we did confirm. Yeah, Thor is a
Yeah.
Canadian heavy metal band from Vancouver,
Yeah.
British Columbia.
Yeah, it's that fits in very well with what I know about Dave Hill as a person. Yeah.
Okay, well, all right. Well, Walt, thanks for turning me on to this comedian and this band. Yeah, it's been fun. They're fun to talk about, definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me on your show. I had a lot of fun.
Okay, well, yeah, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. That was episode 54. And yeah, thanks again, Walt. We're gonna go out with "We Are Your New Gods" is the title, right? Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, all right. Have a great night.
Yep. Have a good night.
We will turn your waters red with blood. Yes. Yes.